start it off.
All right, we ready?
I mean, we're iterating. Yeah. What was that?
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of three opinionated guys with mics and too much free time. Strong enough to stop a speeding movie rumor. More powerful than a bad comic book event. Able to waste hours of time asking stupid questions to people who have better things to do. It's Dave, Ben, and John. It's Superhero Speak.
Hey everyone, welcome to Superhero Speak. We are here live at the Philly Podcast Festival 2016. This is your host Dave.
And Ben.
And John, although...
Just make sure we do that in every episode so people know the voices.
I'm not.
No, John.
No, hey,
John,
hey,
John,
come
on.
Take that
Come
from
on. We don't need you poisoning yourself this early on.
Okay.
John, we told you have to
okay.
stay.
John, come on.
Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff.
All right. At least, as long as you have enough for everyone. That's...
Oh, okay.
Oh, my goodness.
There you go. Yeah, just...
By the way, this makes for great radio.
Yes, I know.
Is
Psych
today your
gags,
intervention?
always good for a...
Psych gags are always good.
Yes.
Always play well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I'm ready.
So, Dave, I noticed we're not alone here.
No, we actually have a guest with us. So we're here at the Philly Podcast Festival, I just said, and this year it's being hosted at Amalgam Comics, and we have the owner of Amalgam Comics with us, Ariell Johnson. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
No, I've actually wanted to have you on the pod since you guys opened. I think this is a really cool place. So last year we were at the Tattooed Mom, and I said that it felt like we were actually in a Jackson Pollock painting.
And not in the good way.
And this year, I kind of feel like Starbucks and Comic-Con had a baby, and that's Amalgam Comics.
That's a good way to think about it.
So, so what inspired you to start a comic book shop / coffee house?
I actually got the idea many moons ago when I was in college. I went to Temple. And I was a Fat Jacks girl, so on Friday, that was my thing. I would, after class let out, I would go to downtown, get my books, and then there was this really cool coffee shop across the street called Crimson Moon, run by like a young African-American woman, and she just had the best vibe. Like everything about her shop, you could just tell she hand-picked it. So from the furniture to like the mural she had on the wall, just everything. It was just a great vibe. So I like to buy my books at Fat Jacks and then just go directly across the street and sit and read everything that I bought. And it just felt nice to not feel like I was in a nerd closet, like I'm reading publicly. And I just enjoyed that, just being around other people, even though I wasn't necessarily engaging with them, just to be around other people, I just thought was cool. And she ended up closing her doors, and then I was kind of at a loss for after I bought my books, where to go. Again, because like I said, it wasn't just as easy as find another coffee shop. I just love the vibe of her shop, and that's really what birthed the idea, because I just thought, man, it would be cool if after I bought my books, I didn't have to look for somewhere else to hang out with them.
Right.
If that was the same space. And comic book stores are cool to hang out in, but they're not always conducive to conversation.
Right,
there's no chairs, there's nowhere to put your stuff.
Right.
So just kind of creating that comfortable space. And that was how it started. And then, more than a decade later, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, usually when there's chairs, it's for a Magic the Gathering tournament or
Right.
something like that. And that's about it. So you've been into comics your whole life then, or?
No, I mean, I've always liked superheroes. I've always liked powers. I'm an 80s kid, so, He-Man, She-Ra, Thundercats, Transformers. That's what I grew up watching, and that's what I wanted to watch. And then in the 90s, I got introduced to X-Men through the Fox TV show.
The one with the best opening ever.
Huh?
That was the one with the best opening ever.
Yeah, I mean, I get really excited, everybody knows that opening.
Yep.
But yeah, and for me, up until that point, I had never seen a black woman superhero, never.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think, like Storm had a big role in me like actually getting into comics and still being into comics because as a kid watching it, like I enjoyed it, but I always felt like I was watching like someone else's adventure.
Yeah.
But and I enjoyed it, but I didn't feel like I was a part of it. And like meeting Storm for the first time made me feel like I could be a part of it. Like I used to, pretend I had like storm powers and I could make the wind blow. Like I just remember doing that and being really excited, and she's such a strong character. So it's also like she's not like a BB gun, amidst like, high-tech rifles or whatever. It's like she is a powerhouse, you know what I mean? So it's just like so cool. So I, once I got into the cartoon, it was, only a matter of time, like I wanted to know more about her specifically, and so it was like, so you have to go to the comics. And that's when I really started getting into comics, and that was more high school, and I started reading like a friend's who was really in the X-Men too. And I would read his books, and then school started, like college started, we all went our separate ways, and then I was in a place where I had to actually buy my own if I wanted to keep reading them. So I actually started my own comic book collection in college.
Yeah, that is
so
that
it was like
critical
it was
juncture.
a gradual stage. So so that was 2001, 2002. So I'm like 14 years in or so.
Nice.
Okay, that's probably a good collection at this point.
Yeah.
You've earned your dues.
Yeah.
Like about 13, 14 short boxes. And then,
nice.
Like a bookshelf of trades, so.
Very nice.
So, did anyone tell you were crazy when you said you wanted to open a comic book shop?
No, I don't know if I'd say crazy. I think people didn't necessarily take it seriously, though. I mean, I did have, like, in meetings, like, even to discuss like what was going to be in the store, like meeting with like vendors and things like that. Like I definitely had people who tried to like talk me out of it. Like I had one guy actually tell me, he was like, "Oh, I don't think your business plan's going to work." He was like, "I think you should focus on the coffee and maybe have a small like curated section of comics." He was like, "I don't think," just kind of giving his opinion.
Well, at the point, what do you think it is? Is it a woman thing or is it a comics thing? Or I mean, which one is it that they're picking on? That
I just think it's somebody who kind of likes comics and doesn't really understand how robust the culture is. You know what I mean? To know that it's like, in a world where like bookstores are closing, comic book stores are not. Like, you know what I mean? And because it's like, even though there are digital and people go to Comixology and read digital stuff, there is something magical about holding it. Like I read digital comics, but all it ever makes me want to do is go buy the book. Like, I'm not content. Just like, oh man, that was cool. It's like, man, I got to get that. You know what I mean? It's something about holding it. I can't even tell you what it is, but I feel like most comic book readers feel that way. So I just think it was just coming from a place of like not really fully understanding what that geek life is all about, you know?
Right.
So, in his mind, he was being helpful, but in my mind, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about.
That's not helpful.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking from the perspective of when I was a kid in the 80s, and there were 5 comic book shops in my neighborhood that I could go to.
Oh, wow.
And today there's one, so, and it's, we had the boom in the 90s, of course. That's when everything went nuts, and then early 2000s they started closing. So that's why I said, like, did anyone like try to stop you because of those aspects?
No, not really. I mean, I think again, you have to, like, the magic of the comic book store is like the relationships you can build there. So I feel like if you become that comic book store where you hate all your customers and you barely speak to anybody, like, you're not going to last. But if you're like engaging people, if you're like hosting events and doing what people want,
right.
Like, because I feel like geeks like to gather. So if you give them a place to do that, they'll come. But if every time they come somewhere it's like unwelcome,
they'll do it awkwardly, but they will gather. So from that aspect, not really. Just I think more so people not really understanding the concept. I mean, I did have people say like, "Oh, do you really think a comic book store is sustainable?" And I mean, it's not, it's not like a tech company where it's like the money pours in or anything like
right,
that. But
right.
but it is doable. You just have to like be mindful about how you're doing it. You know.
Right. No, and that's true. I mean, in today's world, people think about, oh, what's your plan for growth and where are you going to be in 5 and 10 years, but no one thinks about what the neighborhood shop anymore. And you're here about the neighborhood and bring people in and like you said, build relationships.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be tough to try to explain that to backers, like, oh no, that's what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said. I mean, I think, especially with where we just are, like politically and economically, I think people are realizing the value of like the community stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, the big box stores, all well and good, but at the end of the day, they are not a part of the community. They live wherever they live, and they just kind of set up shop to make money, but they're not invested in the community. So to support businesses where the owners live there too, it's like, oh, yeah, they own that record store, they own this, they live down the street from me. I think it just that sense of community and supporting each other and kind of being like our own, like economy within the neighborhood, I think is important, and I think people are starting to understand the value of that, because just at the end of the day, it's like, the big box stores, their only concern is the bottom line. They don't care about anything else. And so if you want more than that, you might pay a little more for something, but you're getting so much more in return. And I think people are starting to really kind of get back to that. Especially in like this neighborhood. Philly is a very like neighborhood city.
Oh, yes.
And I do think like the Kensington, Fishtown area is very like about their neighborhood.
Oh, definitely.
I live here and I hardly ever leave. So,
so now with the explosion of nerd culture, especially in the last decade with the movies and everything, do you feel like you get a lot of people in here who like have seen Batman v Superman and now they're interested into learning, reading books? Do you get that, or is it just still the regular collectors coming in?
Yeah, because at this point you get a lot of geeks who are like, oh yeah, I know all that Batman Superman stuff. Have you ever read a comic? No.
Yeah. Right.
I've seen all the movies though. Right. It's like.
Yeah, well, I think we get both. We definitely get like the hardcore like comic book heads, but we get the people who are new to it. And I mean, you can love the movies, hate the movies. I love some, I hate others. Yeah. Some things I just like, it's like I don't want to talk about it because there's no way for this to end. I'm going to go on a rant. And I don't want to do that. So, I mean, you feel how you feel, but at the end of the day, it does get people in the door. You know what I mean? And it piques people's interest. So it's like, I always think, I mean, in any case, the book is always better. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like
definitely.
Hunger Games, love the movies, the books are better. Yeah. Because you can get more, they convey more. Right. There's not this like budget where it's like, we can't do that because we can't afford to do that. It's like,
exactly.
You can do whatever you want because it's on paper. You know what I mean? So I think, but I think the movies are cool because they get people interested. Like, oh man, that character seems cool. I want to know more about that character. And we do get that, people coming in like, I'm new to comics, or I haven't read a comic in a while. Where should I start? What's good? So it's hard for us to keep number ones on the shelf, like especially like of trades. Like Saga runs out of here, and so I'm always like, okay, we have book 3. I can reorder book 1. We had book 1 yesterday. It's gone. So
right. When you do that, do you have to, like, when they come in and say, okay, well, I want to know about Superman, do you have to do the whole, okay, well, if you want to follow this one, if you want to learn about Superman, you follow this storyline, you have to buy this Superman, this Batman, this Wonder Woman, this Justice League, this edition, and because they interweave all the storylines these days?
Not really. I mean, I try to, if people are new to it, I try to give them self-contained stuff because like the continuity thing is scary. Like I know when I started reading, I was like, I'm in the middle of something. I don't know what happened before. I'm trying to make sense of it. So especially people who are like new to comic books, it's like, read Watchmen, read V for Vendetta, read Saga, read things that are like, this is it. And then you figure out if you want to like keep going, and so you're not so like bogged down with that. I mean, of course, like if you want to go in, we'll help you do that. It's like, oh well, this happened, then you should probably read that, but it's not we're not like making people like you have to read this, you have
Yeah.
to read this. I mean, you read what you want.
Well,
Because I know there are some things that I haven't read because I like to pretend they didn't happen.
That's probably a smart move.
Yeah, rebirth.
And it is difficult. It's complicated to follow. Like you could have someone coming in and ask, well, I want to, start with, say, Ms. Marvel. I want to start with number 1. I was like, well, which number 1 do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like the one
Yeah.
from this year, the one from last year.
Yeah, sometimes when we do reorders, I'm always like, holy crap, wait a minute. Let me see, there's this one. Okay, this is the one you want. Like
Right,
that,
right.
it is, like, that is why one, like, gripe with the, like, comic book industry is, like, stop renumbering.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's like, stop it. Just stop it, because I'm confused.
Yeah.
You get somebody coming in asking, "Oh, I want to read about Wolverine." "Oh, he's dead. Sorry."
Right.
But just wait 6 months. He'll come back. No problem.
But there's a new Wolverine.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So,
Which Wolverine do you want?
so you started talking about the movies. There's been 4 movies so far this year, superhero movies.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Batman
least
versus
four, yeah.
Superman,
Batman versus-
Suicide Squad.
Civil
Civil
War,
War.
Deadpool.
Oh, Civil War, yeah,
And there's
Deadpool.
one more, Apocalypse.
Oh, and Apocalypse.
Oh, Apocalypse, yes.
So out of those that have been out so far, have you seen them all?
I have not seen them all. I've seen Deadpool, Civil War, Batman versus Superman, and Apocalypse. The only one I haven't seen is Suicide Squad. That is the only
okay,
one. So I'm pretty
okay.
good, doing pretty good.
Now, did you not see Suicide Squad because of Batman v Superman?
No, just
Okay.
time constraints. I meant to see it the week it came out. I had my niece with me, and we just could not get ourselves together. So I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you run a business. it's
Yeah,
like-
all that.
it's all
So growing up an X-Men fan and a fan of Storm, what did you think of Apocalypse?
Okay. Okay, so the X-Men movies are like touchy territory for me. I generally don't rewatch them. But I will say they all have badass, if I can say that. I've said it, so it doesn't matter.
All right.
Opening scenes.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like, Magneto's like Auschwitz scene,
Oh, yeah.
Nightcrawler's,
was-
like
oh yeah.
Pivotal.
White House
White
scene.
House, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like this is blowing my mind. I mean, the only one I didn't really love was like the Danger Room scene in the third one.
Yes.
And I just thought that was
Yeah.
okay, but like X-Men hit the sweet spot for me with Days of Future Past. Now, mind you, it wasn't Days of Future Past. They just called it that,
Right.
which is fine. It's like I understand why they do that because it's like they want to like invoke that feeling for people
Right.
who know what it is. Like, oh, Days of Future Past. So it's like it wasn't Days of Future Past. And I still don't understand why they couldn't just introduce Rachel to do what Kitty did. Because
Yes.
it's not like Kitty had a big role. So you
Right,
didn't
right.
have to know
Right.
a whole bunch. I mean, not that you know a whole bunch about Kitty anyway,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like, they focus mostly on Wolverine. So it's like to have Rachel just do what Rachel did.
Right.
I don't think that would have been a big deal, especially if you're introducing Blink, you're introducing Warpath.
Right,
My
yes.
baby, I love Warpath so much. So I flipped out when he was there.
Yeah.
I mean, Bishop's there, some spots there, all these people are there. So what was
Yeah.
one more going to do?
Yeah.
Anyway, because I was like, this makes no sense
No,
as to
yes.
why Kitty can do this thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like that was just a sweet spot for me. It's like that opening scene was fantastic, and in the middle of the movie, when they're fighting and they're losing and they're just
Yeah.
all dying. I mean, it did make me think of the comic where you're just slowly watching them. It's like Wolverine dies, then Storm dies, then Peter dies,
Yeah.
and Rachel's outside crying. It was just that is what it made me feel like.
Yeah.
So that was just the sweet spot of movies for me. And Apocalypse, I wanted to love it, especially because it seemed like Storm was going to be a bigger role. But it just something about it missed the mark a little bit. I mean, it was still entertaining. It was definitely entertaining, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
I guess as a fan, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as I felt like it could have been, and as good as I was ready for it to be, given how excited I was about Days of Future Past. Because Days of
Right.
Future Past is the one I own that one,
Yeah.
and I will watch that again and again.
Yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah, they just I don't know what it is. I was like, they hit it on the head for me with this one.
Well, I mean, normally with the way superhero stuff works, it's like, okay, that one died, that one died, that one. But it was more emotional because they were dying for a cause, and it was like a last stand. It was, not to mention Last Stand. Oh God, but it got emotional. It was it tugged at your heartstrings. It was actually kind of badass.
Yeah, I mean, and like the Days of Future Past comic, part 2 where everybody does die. That is the first comic book that made me cry because I had to read it like this. So I didn't because I was borrowing somebody's like actual copy of it.
Right.
So I was like, I can't cry on this, but it was like it was just it was emotional. Like exactly, it just like took you there.
You know what? Speaking of borrowing comics.
Uh-oh.
You still have my Joker comic, but anyway.
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
So there's something I wanted to know. So you run this entire business, and it's part of the comic scene that we normally don't get to ask people about. But when you started this, okay, so there's Marvel and DC, so you're definitely going to carry those titles.
Right.
But do you carry independents? How do you set up getting these independent comics in here? How do you decide what comes in and what doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, we do. I was always big on having independence. So we do have Marvel, we do have DC, but we also have Image and Dark Horse, and like Boom and all that stuff. And just as far as like independent stuff, like local stuff or even smaller press stuff, it's just kind of keeping an ear to the ground. It's like if I hear about something that I'm like, oh man, that's cool. We figure out how to get it in the store, and so that is a little more time consuming. Because it's like you're dealing with these individual vendors, but I have not regretted it. Like we have been getting books from Emmett Comics, which their whole thing is they only publish books that are created by women. So it's like a women created line of comics, and they just have some really interesting stuff. My favorite one from them so far is Romeo and Juliet and Guns, which is like Romeo and Juliet, but they're like assassins, and it's like they juxtapose like the traditional like Shakespearean language with very modern language, kind of like the movie.
Right.
Like in that, they still spoke in Shakespearean language, but the weapons were new. And then this one, it's like the narrator or the narration is Shakespearean, but the actual language in the book is modern. And then they're trying to kill each other, which I think is kind of cool. As well, like they fall in love that way.
It's Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, so it's just like cool. And then we have like Raising Dion, which is like a book that kind of was taking the comic book world by storm. It's about a single or a widower. She actually lost her husband. Black woman who's raising like a son with superpowers, and like the book is from her perspective as a non-powered caretaker of this superpowered little boy, and like she's noticing like men in suits following them, and she's trying to keep him safe and also trying to raise him to be a decent person because like they did like a real action, like live action trailer for it, and she catches him like saying, "I will destroy you," and like blowing up his toys, and she stops him, because it's like that's a real thing. It's like if she has to keep him on the straight path, or he could really do like damage. So like I just think that's like such an interesting thing.
I've seen that live action trailer and I didn't realize it was for a book.
It is. We have the book in store.
All right. Check it out.
They should do that more. I think people would buy more books if they had if they did like high budget live action or trailers for comics and novels. I think it's a great idea.
Marvel
it was a great trailer.
Yeah.
Marvel and DC does animated ones, but yeah, no, I did notice you have a rack over there that's like all independent books.
It is, and some stuff is local. Like we're trying to work on like building up like our consignment, so local people who just kind of give us books, and we sell what we can and kind of pay as we sell them, which has been cool and allowed us to have like more books than we would be able to financially usually buy if we had to pay for them outright. But it's kind of giving people more selection. And makes it a little easier for us to do that.
The other thing that I noticed that I haven't seen in any other comic book shop before is you have a kids' corner.
We do. A full-blown kids' corner, not a rack.
Yes. There's chairs over there and a lot of books to choose from.
Yeah, and I think because I think a lot of comic book stores, adults read comic books, and so it is more, as an adult, you want to cater to adults because that's more fun. But most people who get into comics get into them as kids.
Yep.
So if you don't ever entertain like the kids segment of the customer base, you won't have any customers in 20 years. You know what I mean? Because they're going to grow up, and if they didn't get into comics, they might not ever.
Right.
So I think it's really important to kind of give attention to that. And it's also helpful for the parents who, like, my kid loves comic books, I don't know anything, what can they read, to be able to point them over there and say, well, everything over there is like all readers, it's safe, as opposed to like, not that. You know, it's like, parents, there is no Deadpool in the kids section. Deadpool is not for children. But yeah, so it just kind of makes it easier for the parents who are navigating it, the kids see that there is a section like for me. And I mean, even there we have like some independent stuff. It's not all Marvel, DC. It's, you know, and things that we find that are like catered at kids, catered to children, but is also independent. We'll, carry that too.
Okay, cool.
That's great. I wish, hopefully it's a trend, because as a parent of kids who love comics, it's definitely appreciated.
Oh, well, thank you.
So we're gonna do something a little different.
Okay.
This was a gift I recently got from someone, because when you're into comic book stuff, of course, everyone gives you comic book related things. It's a Marvel trivia game.
Oh God.
So
okay.
Let's.
Well, I'm out. It's not DC. Sorry.
Are you a DC guy?
I think we should take a look at some of these questions.
Can't you tell by my head hanging in shame that I'm a DC guy?
And I want to start off with letting you know I have never read any of these before.
Okay.
So here's a good one to start off with, easy one.
Okay.
What is absorbing man's power?
Oh, I would assume that he would absorb people's powers. I don't know absorbing man at all. I mean, I know mimic.
Can I field this
I don't know
one?
absorbing man though.
So absorbing man, or Crusher Creel, right?
Yes.
He has the ability to absorb the properties of any material that he touches. So he touches metal, his whole body becomes like living metal. Or touches concrete. So he basically has the tensile strength and capabilities of whatever that material is.
Oh, sweet.
I will say one of my favorite incidents with him was actually in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, where he touched Mjolnir, and Thor used that as a bit of a gambit. Like, initially he felt like he couldn't fight him, but then, he said, now that you're made of the same material as Mjolnir, I can control you just like Mjolnir, and basically tossed him around. It was great.
That's cool.
You don't get a prize, though. You're part of the panel. Sorry.
All right, okay. This one. What mutant disease did Pyro contract?
The legacy virus?
Yes.
Okay.
See, there you go.
Bravo.
Wow, some of these are actually pretty hard. I'm shocked. Usually that's like, what's Spider-Man's real name? You know?
Yeah.
Or
Which one?
What was his uncle's name?
Yeah, which one?
Yeah, that's
Given
true.
the Spider-Verse now, you're kind of like, pick three. You have to give three names.
You know his middle name?
Oh, okay. So here's one I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
Where was Mr. Fantastic born?
In the mind of Stan Lee.
Yeah, I don't know that
I'm
either.
gonna say Bronx.
No.
Queens?
Upstate New York?
He's not from New York originally.
Huh.
Central City, California.
Oh, that I did
Okay.
not know.
Yeah, I never knew that.
So they made up a city for him.
Which X-Men did Cyclops marry?
Oh, which he married Jean Grey. But in my mind, I was like, is this a trick question? Do they want me to say Madeline Pryor? But I'm like, did he ever marry Madeline? I don't know.
No.
I don't remember if he married Madeline or not.
And it's funny because it says Jean Grey and Phoenix in parentheses.
Yes.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Did he
Phoenix.
really marry the Phoenix, though? I don't know if that's
Well-
really accurate.
That's a good question.
Well, no, I'm trying to think. No, because when she was Phoenix, like, she dies, like, in the Shi'ar trial.
Right.
And that was Phoenix, and
Yeah.
because they
Phoenix
hadn't
Saga, right.
found Jean yet. So I think he
right.
really does marry Jean,
Yeah.
but even though she's connected to the Force.
All right, let's Let's try one more here. Which X-Men is Elizabeth Bradcock?
Oh, Psylocke, a.k.a. Kawanin.
Nice.
Like her really confusing character arc, because she was Betsy Braddock, sister of Captain Britannica or whatever,
Right.
and then
Captain
she's
Britain.
in Kawanin's body. Whole thing.
Cool. So how about our audience? We've got a small audience here. If you guys want to try any of these questions, we actually have some prizes.
Oh, that'd be cool.
No. Trust me, the prizes are just. You might want to throw some of these questions.
So we're going to start off with.
None of the prizes are in your pockets, John.
I don't think some of them are old enough for those.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a print from my friend Greg Horn, who is a artist from Marvel and DC, and it's the DC Trinity. So if anyone's interested in this, here's the question. I'm just going to randomly pick one.
What color was George Washington's white horse?
I don't think it's from comics.
Oh, that's right. Well, actually,
What is the Iron Fist's real name?
Everyone will know that in a year.
Everyone on this side of the
Oh,
table,
yeah.
I think, knows.
Anybody?
Netflix series is coming out next year.
Oh my God! Come on.
No volunteers?
What do you mean cheat? You know the answer? No, I have to cheat to find
All
out.
right.
Does anyone from the podcast festival know? You guys can answer?
Well, okay.
Anyone want to guess an answer?
I guess. Rand is the last name. Rand is his last name.
Sounds like first syllable.
His first name begins with a D.
Rhymes with Manny. Yes.
All right?
He said it first.
All right. Well, then I will give it to you, sir. Here you go.
Use it wisely. You want to do another?
I'll do another.
Try do another. That's right. I have.
How about some comic books, since we're in a comic book shop?
Woo!
And since these questions are a little hard, I'm going to give all three away together as a set.
Seriously.
This is Voda from Outpouring Comics, and they're actually all signed as well by John Miller, who's the writer.
Oh, awesome.
So,
Way to sneak their name in.
yes. Outpouringcomics.com. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
No.
Hi, Xenoscope. Okay.
That's a different one.
I know.
Okay, this one's a
Oh, yeah,
little
free comics.
hard. What is the name of Spider-Girl?
Ooh.
Oh.
Ha!
Not Spider-Woman.
correct
Not
answer.
Spider-Woman. Hold on. I will
Spider-Girl.
clarify. Not Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl.
And not Spider-Gwen.
No,
Yes.
no.
Spider-Girl, it's one of my favorite books, and we actually had the creators of Spider-Girl on our
We did.
podcast not too long ago.
Oh, cool.
That shows it.
What? Yes.
Yes.
Whoa!
Technically, isn't it Mayday Parker?
It
But-
shows.
Wait, I'll take
But she
May.
goes by May. Yeah, that's fine.
It shows the state of comics that where you ask a question and you have to ask, several questions back,
Right,
like
right.
which
There's
one,
caveats and-
which reality, which
you
reboot.
have did you have the third prize?
The third prize? Yes, the third prize. Yes.
Our third and final prize.
All
We
right.
should have done this second. It is a pair of Doctor Who earbuds.
Oh my gosh, I want those.
Wait. Do you know where they're
can you
from?
name what those are?
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, they're the little fat things, the
Do you remember what they're called?
adipose.
Adipose. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
Thank you.
they were so cute.
Yes, and deadly. They made of people. It's kind of a bad thing, but cute. Yes.
Those are awesome.
Okay, so here's a question, and this actually is the question. What team is Storm on?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking
Wait,
anyone.
Well-
Audience? Anyone?
But are we talking color? Like if
Oh.
she would team?
I was trying to, let our guest win. That's why I asked that question. All right, what were you going to
Well,
add to
in the
that?
90s, she was the leader of the Gold Team.
Okay.
Yes.
She was, I'm trying to think, her book was Uncanny X-Men, Cyclops was the Blue Team, and he had the adjectiveless X-Men book. And now she is on Extraordinary X-Men, I
Yes.
believe.
Okay,
That's
I've
the
never
team
heard of
she's
those
on.
blue gold team things. I just
You apparently don't read enough X-Men.
oh well, you know.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
yeah.
DC guy. Hi. You know.
So I have a backup prize for you, sir, but I will give that.
Thank
to
you so
Ariell.
much. I love, this was such a cute, I love
This
so cute.
is another print
From the Wizard
Greg
World.
Horn,
I got those.
and this is Batman
Or Superman.
versus Superman.
Nice.
So there you go.
Gotta love Greg Horn.
Good.
Come claim your
Andy?
prize.
Well, you shouted it out first, but I really was,
We were coaxing in the direction of
yes.
it.
I was looking right at her when I asked the question.
I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. Is this for me? So.
All right. Should I do one more?
Do you have one more prize?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then yeah, ask one more.
I have
Go
one
for it.
more. Okay.
You're not giving me away again. I'm not a prize.
All right,
sorry.
then don't ask.
The heroes called the Thunderbolts were actually what villains?
Ooh.
Do you have to name all of them?
No, they were a team.
We're in the middle of a comic
I don't
shop.
know if I know this
I
question.
don't know that one either.
Look around. You may see the answer on the wall.
Don't say that unless it's true. Now you have people just looking all over. And
Whoa.
All right. Well,
Secret plug.
if no one knows, it was the Masters of Evil. All right, we'll try
Oh.
this one. What is the name of Quicksilver's daughter? Anyone?
Was this the
Anyone?
secret? Was this the secret one? The one out of
Luna.
wedlock, or
Luna?
Luna.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the prize is the game.
Thank you. Yes, Luna was a
Played in good health.
scary girl. Anyway, that whole Terrigen Mist thing. Anyway, when Quicksilver, like after he loses his power,
yeah.
Yes.
he's
That was
like
a
got
weird-
her huffing the Terrigen Mist, and I was like, this is all very strange. This is a
Yeah.
strange relationship. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
So, let me think. We've got a few minutes here yet. So I'm gonna, we were started talking about the movies, and again the explosion of the nerd culture last decade. In the last 10 years, what's been your favorite superhero movie? Was it Days of Future Past or?
Oh wait a minute! Give her the chance to go all the way back to the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. You know,
no one wants to
come
go
on.
back that far.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, okay, so not necessarily, not a comic book movie, but still kind of in that vein. I'm a real sucker for like Underworld.
Oh,
Okay,
I love
okay.
that
I
Underworld series.
that I thought was like a tight like universe, like
Yeah.
the like how they explain like why there are vampires, why
Right,
there are
right.
werewolves,
There's
and then
another
of
one
course
coming out as
Rise of the
well.
Lycans. It's like a story all about Lucian.
Yeah.
Anytime. I was like, so that, I mean, so I guess kind of in that like action power, that is probably like my favorite. Like I said,
Yeah.
I really like Days of Future Past is like the sweet spot, like superhero wise, but
Yeah.
kind of in that whole realm of like otherworldly things.
And
Underworld is my thing.
It preceded a lot of the heroine-centered stuff that we have now with like the Hunger Games and those
Yeah.
things. It came before a lot of that, and I thought it was great when that came out at the time.
Yeah, it's so much fun, and that
Yeah.
again, I mean, I wish the fourth one would have been better.
Yeah.
I mean, it was short. Scott Speedman wasn't in it, and so
Yeah.
it was just one of those things. I wish they would have just waited and done it well, because I
Right.
thought the first three, the first, the second, and then the prequel, I thought were solid.
Yeah.
And
Right.
again, I'm really into world building.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I like when you create rules and you
Right.
tell a story within that, and then like as if you've built a good world, like your audience can kind of infer about like what's going to happen based on things that you know, like
Yeah.
like Game of Thrones, like clearly it's
Right.
like Valyrian steel. It's like, why can they kill White Walkers? Think about everything.
Right.
It's just like, I know why. And then just like, I love stuff like that. And I thought Underworld did a really good job of like world building.
Yeah. No, agreed.
They'll reboot it soon.
Well, they're not.
I don't want to reboot. I just want them to finish it.
Another one that's coming out next year sometime.
Yeah, they did that with Spider-Man, and they had a reboot in a year.
Yeah.
So,
And actually,
besides, it's a nice fertile world. It's got a lot.
It is.
A lot of
fodder.
potential. Yeah, and I mean, and it's because it's Immortals. You can go back, you can go forward.
Yeah.
Like it's just fun. You know what I mean?
There's a
It's
lot
like
of ways
it's
you
like
can
I've
go
been
with that.
around. I've been kicking around for 500 years.
Yeah.
Which is just really fun.
And to follow your question, looking forward, what superhero movie are you looking forward to the most in the next couple of years?
You know what? I'm really excited about that Wonder Woman movie.
Oh,
I saw that. Why did it take this long?
Yeah.
It should not have, but I saw that trailer, and I was like, did she just slide across the floor on her shield and kick somebody in the foot? I was like, okay. I was just like, this is incredible. And then I am excited about the Justice League movie because I am excited to sit in a movie for 2 hours and just have Jason Momoa, a.k.a. Khal Drogo, stare at you. I think that was my favorite part of Batman versus Superman when he, comes out. And I was like, oh, my goodness, he's here. So I'm going to enjoy that. But as far as, overall movie, the Wonder Woman movie, I think that is going to, just be a winner. I thought she was the best part of Batman versus Superman, and I just think her movie is going to be killer.
It's DC's one chance
To redeem
to do.
themselves?
Yes.
As a DC guy, you're saying that.
Yeah, well,
they-
again, one chance. I mean, we're going to get a Carol Danvers. What is it? The
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman. Yeah, if they can
You
do
gotta-
that right, and you're right that the trailer looked awesome.
Right.
If they can do it like Bruce Timm did a lot of the fight scenes in the animated universe,
Yeah.
it will probably be it'll be like Crouching Tiger, a hidden hero. It'll be awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's cool about Wonder Woman, like you said, with the shield and the sword, she uses weapons.
And the rope and, the lasso.
And the lasso.
Oh, and the glowing
So
lasso. They got
Yeah.
it
Oh,
right.
yeah.
They
Yes.
can give us visuals that we haven't seen on screen as well.
And I love, her lasso looks awesome on screen.
Oh, it
Yeah.
does.
And, because she pulls it out in Batman versus Superman. And I think my favorite part in that is when she gets knocked down and she just laughs. She's like, okay. It's like, oh, okay, I was
now this is gonna
playing,
be
now I'll
fun.
stop playing.
Yeah.
I was just like, she's so hardcore. I loved it. I
And
loved
now
it.
for
I
my
loved it.
final form.
No, we're not mixing Dragon Ball Z and Wonder
yeah.
Woman. No.
Please.
Or any of the others, yes.
Yes.
So we're
I think we're around at
we're
time.
we're getting there. One of the questions we usually like to ask our guests, wrapping up, is how do you measure success?
You look around.
That's a good answer.
We haven't even hit year one, and this has not been an easy year. It's just, for a number of reasons. It's like, I'm never done this before, so everything that happens is new. It's not like, oh, this happened last year. It's like, we got to figure it out. We went viral within a month of our opening, so we were just busier than I was ready for. So there was some growing pains with that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then summer came, and it's a little quieter because in Philly, people run away to the shore.
Yes.
So then, dealing with okay, now we got to taper back. So just kind of because there's no precedent, again, like I said, everything is new, so we're learning. So, year two will be easier because we'll have something to kind of pull from.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that the store exists is success. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got the idea for this, what was that, 2003?
Okay.
And so, we opened in 2015, so a 12-year journey, with, personal ups and downs, career ups and downs, and finally getting to a place where I wanted to try my hand at this. And this process wasn't easy, from just, dealing with the the red tape of it,
Yeah.
and like finding the building and getting the building ready, having to deal with like contractors, and especially when you have to do anything where you have to then involve other people, it just gets messy because they don't care as much about it as you do. So you're kind of, it's like some of it was like pulling teeth, but you know, I definitely had like love and support and, you know, people helping financially and things like that to make it happen. But up until the point that we opened, a lot of that was just me. Yeah. Like meeting with this person, talking to this person, and doing things that were hard, doing things that I wasn't necessarily comfortable with. Right. But still getting it done. And I think, you know, just kind of knowing, you know, what I'm capable of, which is cool, which makes which makes it a success. Because I mean, you think like you don't realize what you can do until you have to do it, and then you can look and say, I did that. Like that thing exists because I did it. So I am capable of that, no matter how I feel sometimes about it, no matter, you know, how many tears you cry or how, you know, how much pulling out of your hair that you do because you don't think you can. It's like you can. Yeah. So I think, I don't know, I think success is being brave enough to try. Yeah. You know, I mean, I just, like, even if you tried and failed, the fact that you tried it, because most people don't, because they don't want to fail. Like, it's embarrassing to fail, especially if it's something big and something people know you were doing, and then if it doesn't happen, that's embarrassing. So most people don't even go for it, but you don't gain anything if you don't risk anything. And so I think, you know, if you've ever tried to do what you were passionate about, that is a success, because that's the first step. Cool. So.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. And, guys, I forgot. I wanted to mention this, and I apologize for, you know, talking about ourselves for 1 second.
Oh no!
Speaking of success, I just wanted to mention, as of today, Superhero Speak has had over 100,000 downloads.
Awesome.
Nice. So, yes, I thought that was a
time. Congratulations! That's awesome.
It's something that we started again because that's one of the reasons everyone has a different answer for success, and this is something we started 3 years ago. Just for fun at work, we were fooling around, and you know, we didn't think we would get this far. So
and it's like it's a good feeling to be like, oh man, you know, and that doesn't mean things will be easy from this point out, but it's like you hit this milestone. That's incredible.
Yeah, the place we started at closed its doors already, but we're still going.
So, is there any events coming up? Anything in particular you want to plug?
Yeah, just if you are in the Philadelphia area or beyond, you know, check us out. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Just look for Amalgam Philly. We're still working on our website, so Facebook is the best way to keep in contact with us and what we're doing. We have a magic event next Saturday.
Ooh, nice.
My goodness, let me look. Let me look at the calendar real quick, because I'm going to forget something. And we're always just working. Like, we have a First Friday event where the Black Tribbles come and they podcast out of the shop. Nice. And it's like a little show, and they'll have like a musical guest or a creative guest.
It's one of his favorite podcasts.
I listen to them every week.
Oh, awesome. They'll be here later. Just really good friends of the shop, and, you know, so we do stuff like that. We've had like movie screenings. I don't know if you guys have heard of the movie Rain, like the Storm fan film.
Yes.
A woman named Maya created. And we, you know, talked to her, and we were the Philadelphia debut of it, so we got to screen it in the shop. So it was just like really, really cool stuff. And again, like, I am super nerdy, so it's like if it piques my interest, we try to do it. Awesome. I'm sorry, I don't know how to work my phone apparently.
Phones are hard.
Yeah. So all right. So okay. Of course, we have the Philadelphia Podcast Festival happening today. All day, so come on down for that. Magic the Gathering on August 27th. It starts at 11. Oh, and this is the one. Writer Greg Pak.
Oh,
okay. If you should know who he is.
Yes.
You know, writer. He's writing Totally Awesome Hulk. He's done some writing for Storm. Like, and I always enjoy his Storm stories. And he's done a lot of stuff. Well, he has a new book coming out called Kingsway West. He's going to be doing a signing for that also on August 27th at 4 p.m. So if you come into the shop on August 27th at 4, you will meet like a, you know, comic book
legend.
Yeah. So I mean, so we're
I know where I'm going to be on the 27th.
Yeah, and we're just like, we're super excited that like he reached out to us, and he like calls and introduces
Oh,
himself,
wow.
and then
Wow.
it begins to like explain who he is, and I was like, I know who you are. I know who you are. I know who you are.
Greg, you haven't
I'm
called us
trying.
yet.
I'm trying to like sound cool and sound professional on the phone, but I know who you are. Because then I was like, like kind of going into like a nerd excitement. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I know I'll have my books like, please sign these. Thank you. So yeah, just like awesome stuff. And I mean, we are always trying to do stuff like that, and you know, working with independent creators too. So again, just keep an eye out.
Cool.
We actually also have another signing going on up at the front. Rory Steele, who is a sci-fi author, her book Flashbang, Sci-Fi Stories That Will Blow Your Mind. We carry it in shop, and she's up front now doing a signing for that as
Oh,
well.
wow.
So
Very
yeah,
nice.
just you know, regular Amalgam stuff.
Yeah.
Just
Cool.
stuff happening.
Before we wrap up, I have to ask. There's a for the obviously this is a podcast so people can't see. Behind us, there's a drawing of you as a superhero with a coffee cup.
Yes, that is me.
Who is the artist on that?
Oh, his name is Michael White. The company that he works for is Oogie Woogie, and it was
Okay.
part of an interview series called Superhuman. So they
Okay.
interviewed people in their communities that they felt like were doing like making changes or doing good.
Right.
Yeah.
And they like imagine you as a superhero. And I was the first one that they did, which is why I got the cutout.
That is
From what
nice.
I understand, most people will just get a poster or whatever, but
Ah.
I got a cutout, which is cool.
Yeah.
Also, that made it hard. Like, I recently cut my locks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, man, nobody's going to know it's me because in the drawing, they have me with my signature green locks, which
Right.
are, you know, no longer. But, yeah, we have to figure out, we got to name her.
Okay.
I watch a lot of Twilight Zone, so I actually don't. She used to be up front, but she would freak me out. Because I was like, because she does look like me, especially when I have my hair. And I was like, what's going to happen is I'm going to be in here by myself. She is going to come out of that cardboard and put me in it. And then going to be running around
Take
like
over
me,
your life.
and then I'll be in the cardboard like, guys, it's me. And I was like, that's what I was like, this is when you're watching too much Rod Sterling.
Oh yeah.
Rod, you're in my head, and I can't even, you know. I'm such.
And the eyes of the cardboard cutout will
we sure that
forever
hasn't
follow
happened?
people in.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, and so before we wrap up, of course, we want to say thanks to the Philly Podcast Fest for having us again this year.
Yep.
Of course, thanks to Amalgam Comics for hosting it this year.
Oh, thank you for
And
coming. This has
we
been
also
awesome.
want to thank SteelEmpire.com for doing the audio. You guys are doing a great job. Cool. So we're going to wrap it up, and as we always do, and I noticed that in the cutout you have a cape.
Aha.
I do.
So you have to be careful. So
No capes,
as
usually.
as we
but,
always say, don't let your cape get caught in the door.
But it's a short cape, and it's so much like what I love about this
She was
thing is
thinking ahead. Yeah.
she's like this. I don't know how he knew me, but like the fact that she has the shoulder gauntlet on and she's got the strappy things
Yeah.
on her leg and the goggles. If I could dress like that every day, I would. Like, I want nothing more than just have a gauntlet on. And people
If
be like,
you
why
dress-
do you have it
if
on?
you
And I'll
dress-
say,
That
why
would be
not?
great
but
for
if
your
you dress-
business. I think if you dress that way every day, more people would.
Well,
show
either
up.
that, either that, or they'd walk in, take one look, and go, "Oh God, no!"
Cool.
Or it might
All
start
right.
a trend.
Yeah.
Again, thanks for doing this.
Thank you so
and
much.
thanks for everyone for coming out.
Thank you.